How's it going, everybody? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson, and today I've got 3 fun and easy riffs for you from some 80s power ballads. Right now, if you click the link down in the description, you can download a free chord chart from Guitar Control. It's in PDF format, has every chord you could ever need, all neatly compiled onto one sheet. So you can print it out, throw a copy in your gig bag, put a copy where you practice. So just at a glance, you can have any chord you need, and it's a free download. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look at these. Alright, so the first one we're going to look at is the riff from Flight of the Angels by Slaughter. So this here, we have a slide from nowhere to the 6th fret on the G string, and then you're going to put your second finger down so it's on the 7th fret of the D string. So this is like 1 and 2. So we hit the open A string on the downbeat of 2, and then you're going to take your third finger and you're going to pick up the 7th fret of the G string, and now you're going to go and 3 and then you're going to use your pinky to pick up the 9th fret of the G string, and then the open A string. So that's our first measure. Then we're going to keep our pinky where it is, and we're going to pick up the 5th fret of the D string with your first finger. And so this is starting on the second measure. So now we're 9, 5, open, 1 and 2. And then we're going to move from the 9th fret on the G string to the 7th fret. And 3 and. Now we're going to flatten that note on the G string a half step, so it's the 6th fret. So when we change our hand position, so when we go 7, 4, open, 6, 4, open, 4, 4, open, and then we come down here and we do an A suspended 2. So I'm on the 2nd fret of the D string with my second finger, and the 2nd fret of the G string with my third finger, and the A string and the high E string are both open, and the B string is open as well. So we strum that 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So it's like. Then we're going to come to the 2nd fret of the D string with your first finger, and we're going to pick that and do a hammer onto the 4th fret with your third finger. Then go to the G string and do the same frets. So. And then we're going to slide. Now we're going to slide up to the 6th fret, and then our second finger is going to pick up the 5th fret of the B string. Then we're going to shift back down, pull from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret on the G string, and then end it on the 4th fret of the D string. Alright, so the next one we're going to look at is More Than Words by Extreme. So this one here, we're going to start off, we just got a G major chord. Now, what makes this one is you have to do this where you're slapping the strings, but it's actually pretty easy. So we play 1, we just play on the downbeat of 1, we just play just our low E string, or it should be on the 3rd fret because we're just doing a regular G chord. We got 1, and on the end of 1 we're going to pluck the G, B, and E, high E string together, and then do that slap. 1 and 2. Then we're going to still on G. Now on your transcript it says G over B, but it's because we're going to do the same thing, but our bass note is going to be the A string now instead of the low E. So. Then we have a C add 9. So for C add 9, we're just going to move our first and second finger up a set of strings. So that'll put your second finger on the third fret of the A string and your first finger on the second fret of the D string. And that's happening on the and of 4. So that's like our first measure. Now we hit that on the and of 4, and it's tied to the downbeat of 1. So and 1, and 2, and then on the and of 2 we just pluck the A string, and 3, 4, and then on the and of 4 we go to a minor 7. So we're just going to take our first, it's basically A minor without your third finger being on. So the A string is open, second fret of the D string with my second finger, G string is open, and first fret of the B string with my first finger. And we hit that on the and of 4, and that is tied to the downbeat of 1 of the third measure. Then on the and of 1, we pluck just the G, B, and high E strings again, slap, and the A string on the and of 2, and 3, 4, and then on the and of 4, we switch to a C. So you just take your third finger and just set it down onto the third fret of the A string, and that'll make it C. We hit that on the and of 4. It's tied to the downbeat of 1, and then on the and of 1, the G, B, and high E string. Downbeat of 2, the slap. Then we switch to a D, and this is on the and of 2, and 3, and then on the and of 3 we're going to put our pinky down onto the third fret of the high E to make it desuspended 4. Mute, and then back to G on the and of 4, and then the whole thing would just repeat. So when I'm playing it, I probably don't play it exactly the same way. You can kind of embellish that because it has slight changes all the way throughout of it. So if you're playing and you end up hitting, you know, the D string when you were only supposed to hit the G and the B string or something like that, as long as you're doing the right chord, it's all going to sound good. And then the last one we're going to look at is Patience by Guns N' Roses. So this one starts off just with a regular old C chord. So throughout this, there is nothing that is just super set in stone. So take everything that you see as far as, like on this transcription, you'll see you play the A and the D string, then the D, then the G, then the B and the high E, B and the high E, and then just A, D, G, and B. It's pretty hard to just get it all like that, and it's not consistently like that at all on the recording. There's like 3 separate guitar parts that are happening at the same time. So this is just kind of a, just trying to kind of make a version of it that's simple enough to play if you're a beginner, but still sounds really good and sounds like the song. All right, so we've got that C. So that's like our first measure. Okay, then starting on the second measure, we have C add 9. So all we're going to do is take our pinky and set it down onto the third fret of the B string, and we're going to strum that and do a pull off. So it's like 1 and then strum C, and then strum C again, And this time we're going to pull off our first finger to the open string, which gives us, or excuse me, we're going to come off and then hammer back on. And so when it's off, that's the C major. That's why it says C major 7 on there. So that's the first two measures. Now we have a G over B on the third measure, so it's just the second fret of the A string, and then the D, G, and B strings are open. Okay, so this fourth measure, this is probably the hardest part of this to make it sound right, in my opinion, and it's just because of the different things that are going on there. So I usually kind of do a little bit more, instead of just the single notes there, I'll kind of do those but while still strumming the chord, especially if I'm playing it by myself, just to kind of fill it all out. Then we're going to go to an A major chord. Now, if you play A like this, or if you play it like this or like this, it doesn't really matter. But what you are going to have to do is do some suspended chords. So you need to make it so you can get, we're already getting the second fret of the B string, but we need to pick up the third fret as well. And the B string open. So we open fifth string, open our A string, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now, if you do it with this way, because this is how I'm probably going to, I probably don't play it exactly the same way every time, but when I come to here, I'm usually going to come with this because it's a pretty strong muscle memory. But you can just roll your finger up and you're still getting those two notes, but getting the B string open. Now we're going to go pull from using your second finger to pick up the third fret of the B string. We're going to pick that and pull off to the second fret. Then we're going to play the B and G string open, and then hammer to the second fret, and then end with, at the end of 4, with the D and the G string open. To a D, and then D suspended 4. So we just put our pinky down on the third fret, pull it off. D suspended 2 as we remove our middle finger so the high E string is open, and then back to D, and then open A string, 4, and on the end of fret 4, the second fret, and then just makes the whole thing start over again. Alright, so there you have it, 3 fun power ballads from the 1980s. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.